Previously, we learned about the first pathway of cell death, and that was necrosis. Now, we are going to learn about the second major pathway of cell death, and that is apoptosis. In layman's term, apoptosis is referred to as cell suicide. But what it actually is, let's learn about it. Apoptosis comes from a Greek word which means falling off. And as the name says, when a cell goes through the process of apoptosis, it falls off into multiple smaller bodies, into multiple small bodies. And these small bodies that the cell falls off into once it goes through apoptosis are referred to as apoptotic bodies. All right. So the cell, it goes through the process of apoptosis and falls into apoptotic bodies. These apoptotic bodies are eventually eaten up by macrophages, phagocytosed by macrophages. And the type of phagocytosis that takes place is a spatial one. So it has been given a spatial name called epherocytosis. So two terminologies. Number one, apoptotic bodies, and number two, epherocytosis. What is the definition of apoptosis? It has such a definition that every medicos they remember. Programmed cell death. So the cell commits suicide, and the program to commit suicide is written within the cell. So it is the program within the cell that directs it to commit suicide. And this program is dependent on a very special enzyme present in the cytoplasm of that cell. And this enzyme is none other than caspase. So the complete definition is caspase dependent, not just any programmed cell death, caspase dependent programmed cell death. What is caspase? Caspase. It has ase at the end. So it is an enzyme. It is none other than a protease enzyme. C stands for cysteine dependent. Cysteine dependent. ASP stands for aspartate directed. So caspase is cysteine dependent aspartate directed protease, and apoptosis is cysteine dependent aspartate directed protease dependent programmed cell death. And in apoptosis, a large, your normal cell goes through the process of apoptosis and falls off into apoptotic bodies that get eaten up by macrophage by the process of epherocytosis. Okay. With the amount of information I have provided you till now, let's compare between necrosis and apoptosis. Necrosis takes place in a contiguous series of cells. Large number of cells go through necrosis at once. Apoptosis, small number of cells or even a single cell can go through apoptosis. See, here I have drawn a single cell going through apoptosis. In necrosis, there is disruption of the cell membrane. As a result, the intracellular content leaks out. But in apoptosis, the cell membrane is not disrupted. The cell membrane remains intact, and the intracellular content does not leak out. Necrosis is always associated with inflammation. Apoptosis is not associated with inflammation. Necrosis is pathological only, but apoptosis can be physiological as well as pathological. We obviously need examples to support that, right? So here are the physiological examples of apoptosis and the pathological examples of apoptosis. First, physiological apoptosis. Organogenesis. Organogenesis. During the formation of various organs within the body, during the development of embryo, these organs, they have not taken their actual mature shape. So to bring them into the shape, The unnecessary cells, they die off by the process of apoptosis. For example, see right here, during embryological development, the digits, they are connected to one another via waves. The cells within these waves, they die or commit suicide by apoptosis, such that the digits, they become free. This is organogenesis. Second, self-reactive lymphocytes. Self-reactive lymphocytes. See, listen very carefully. Within your body, continuously lymphocytes are being formed. What are lymphocytes? They are the soldiers of your body that fight against any foreign body. But they don't fight against your own body. Why? Because they recognize your body. But since so many lymphocytes are being formed continuously, isn't there a chance that there could be a formation of defective lymphocyte? Isn't there a chance that there is formation of such lymphocyte that does not recognize your own body and fight against your own body? There is. And the actuality is, there are lymphocytes that are made that are self-reactive. That is lymphocytes, that is going to damage your own body. But then why doesn't that take place? Why isn't your body being damaged by the self-reactive lymphocytes? Your body is not being damaged by those defective lymphocytes, self-reactive lymphocytes that get formed because of a phenomenon called self-tolerance. More about it under the topic of immunity. But under self-tolerance, what happens is that these self-reactive lymphocytes, these defective lymphocytes, these lymphocytes that can harm your own body, that is going to damage the cells of your own body, they die. They commit suicide because they know they are not good for your body. They commit suicide. They go through apoptosis. Third, neutrophil clearance. During inflammation, lots of neutrophils, they come in interstitial space. Then what? Inflammation over. Where will the neutrophil go? They die by apoptosis. Endometrial shedding. During menstrual cycle, during menses, endometrium gets shed off. And the cells within the endometrium, they die by the process of apoptosis. These are physiological. Pathological apoptosis. Chemotherapy. During chemotherapy, the cancer cells are killed by two processes: apoptosis plus necrosis. But it's apoptosis 80% of the times and necrosis 20% of the cases. Second, CD4 T cells in AIDS. HIV kills CD4 cells by the process of apoptosis. Third, Councilman bodies. They are nothing but apoptotic hepatocytes during viral hepatitis. Fourth, civet or cytoid or colloid bodies. They are nothing but apoptotic bodies within your apoptotic cells within your skin when you have lichen planus. Okay. Necrosis, we learned first the morphological changes and then the types of necrosis. Apoptosis, first we are going to learn about mechanism of apoptosis and then the morphological changes. There are two pathways involved in the mechanism of apoptosis. There is extrinsic pathway and intrinsic pathway. This is on the basis of apoptotic signal. If the apoptotic signal comes from outside the cell, it is extrinsic pathway. If the apoptotic signal comes from within the cell, it is intrinsic pathway. See, the cell first receives apoptotic signal, then it goes through apoptosis. If the apoptotic signal is coming from outside the cell, that's the extrinsic pathway. But if the apoptotic signal is generating from within the cell, it is intrinsic pathway. Both extrinsic pathway and intrinsic pathway have two steps. Number one, initiation. Number two, execution. And good thing is that execution is common for both. Execution is common for both. The difference lies in initiation of both. the initiation of extrinsic pathway is different than the initiation of intrinsic pathway. Okay. What are the caspases involved? The caspases involved in intrinsic pathway are 8, 9, 10. The caspases involved in execution pathway are, wait, hold on a second. I'll make sure that you memorize these caspases. I'll mug it up for you, but just wait. 3, 6, 7. Okay. See, in the initiation of extrinsic pathway, the caspases involved are very easy. Take E and X. E, X. E looks like number 8 and X looks like number 10. So the caspases involved are 8 and 10. Remains 9. That is in initiation of intrinsic pathway. Simple. Okay, now hold your horses. Let's memorize all the caspases. First, what are all the caspases involved in apoptosis? Start from the number 3. 3 times 2, 6. From 6 to 10, write serial wise. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now divide them into 2 by drawing a line in the middle. So you get 3, 6, 7 on the left, 8, 9, 10 on the right. So 8, 9, 10, they are involved in initiation. 3, 6, 7, they are involved in execution. Done? Done. Within initiation, you have the initiation of extrinsic pathway and initiation of intrinsic pathway. Extrinsic has E and X. E looks like letter 8. X means 10. So 8 and 10 are involved in initiation of extrinsic pathway. What remains? 9. That is involved in initiation of intrinsic pathway. Done. Caspases memorized. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 8, 9, 10 initiation, 3, 6, 7 execution. Then extrinsic pathway initiation has EX. E is like 8, X is 10. So 8, 10 in initiation of extrinsic, and then remains 9. 9 is initiation of intrinsic. Now the pathway itself. Tell me, what are the caspases? Caspases of initiation? 8, 9, 10. What are the caspases from within this in extrinsic pathway? 8, 10. The reason extrinsic pathway is called so due to the presence of external apoptotic signal, and everything happens at the surface of the cell. So let me draw the surface of the cell that is about to go through apoptosis. On the surface of this cell, there is a very special receptor that is present, and a very important receptor in fact. This is CD95 or FAS receptor. Remember, CD95 or FAS receptor. This CD95 or FAS receptor receives its own ligand, which is named CD95 or FAS ligand. Easy. CD receptor receives CD ligand or FAS receptor with FAS ligand, which is present on T cell. Now, the external apoptotic signal that triggers apoptosis in this cell is the CD95 or FAS ligand. This is the external apoptosis. Good. Since the CD95 or FAS receptor is responsible for the death of the cell, it is responsible for the death of the cell, so also called death receptor. And the ligand of the death receptor is death ligand. Okay, one last revision. Extrinsic pathway, extrinsic cause the apoptotic signal is coming from outside the cell. Everything is happening at the surface of the cell. At the surface of the cell, there is a very important receptor called CD95 or FAS receptor. Since this receptor is responsible for the death of the cell, it is also called death receptor. The death receptor has its own death ligand, which is CD95 or FAS ligand. So the CD95 receptor has the CD95 ligand, or the FAS receptor has the FAS ligand. This CD95 or FAS ligand or the death ligand is the external apoptotic signal that is about to trigger the process of apoptosis. So as soon as the ligand and the receptor, they combine. This triggers something unique. So 3 of such receptors, they come together. 3 of such receptors, they come together. This is what it triggers. Basically, trimerization of FAS receptor takes place. Trimerization of FAS receptor takes place. We know that FAS receptor is a death receptor. FAS receptor is a death receptor. When 3 death receptors, they come together, they form what? They form what we call a death domain. And since this death domain is dependent on which death receptor, it is associated with which death receptor? FAS receptor. So it is called FAD. That is FAS associated death domain. A death domain associated with FAS receptor. This FAD then activates caspase. Within the cytoplasm of the cell, caspases are present in inactive form. And from your younger days, you must know that inactive enzymes are written how? With either gen at the end or pro in the beginning. Here you write pro in the beginning. So you have pro caspase that get activated to caspase. Which procaspase? Arey bhai, how many times do I have to repeat? Extrinsic E looks like 8, X is for 10. So caspase 8 and 10. And with that, we finally have caspase 8 and 10 received from the initiation of extrinsic pathway. Now, let's look at the initiation of intrinsic pathway. Intrinsic pathway, because it has internal apoptotic signal. The internal apoptotic signal is either DNA damage, or there could be organelle damage, or there could be hypoxia. Any of these conditions, they end up creating stress within the cell. And the stress, it ends up triggering the stress sensors within the cell. These stress sensors are very easy to remember because the stress sensors names, they rhyme with one another. See, BIM, BID, BAD, Noxa, Puma. Array, just write 3 B's together, 2 I's together, 2 D's together. Now you have BIM, BID, BAD, and then Noxa, Puma. BIM, BID, BAD, Noxa, Puma. As soon as these stress receptors, they get activated, they increase pro-apoptotic factors and they decrease anti-apoptotic factors. See, both pro-apoptotic factors and anti-apoptotic factors are present within your cell normally. Pro-apoptotic factors, they promote apoptosis. Anti-apoptotic factors, they prevent apoptosis by keeping the pro-apoptotic factors in check. Normally, the anti-apoptotic factors are keeping the pro-apoptotic factors in check. That is why your cells are not going through apoptosis. It's because anti-apoptotic factors is preventing the activity of pro-apoptotic factors. But as soon as the cell receives stress, I'm not talking about mild stress, I'm talking about DNA damage, organelle damage, hypoxia. It gets stressed, the stress sensors activate. Book, 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 book. And these BIM, BID, BAD, Noxa, Puma, they increase the pro-apoptotic factors, decrease the anti-apoptotic factors. Obviously, apoptosis is now going to take place because pro-apoptotic factors is more, anti-apoptotic factor is less. The main organelle that is involved is mitochondria. Mitochondria has inner membrane, outer membrane, and an intermembranous space. Within the intermembranous space, there is cytochrome C, SMAC, also known as Diablo. These two are very important proteins. Why? Because cytochrome C and SMAC Diablo is trapped within the intermembranous space. If they leak out into the cytoplasm, they are going to perform apoptosis. So now, do we want them to leak out? Yes, because we are trying to perform apoptosis, so we want them to leak out. But before leaking them out, let me explain you the two important terms: anti-apoptotic factors and pro-apoptotic factors. Anti-apoptotic factors, as I said earlier, they are against apoptosis. They keep the pro-apoptotic factors in check. Where are they present? They are present in the outer mitochondrial membrane, and they prevent leakage of cytochrome C and SMAC/Diablo. Did I not just say that if cytochrome C, SMAC/Diablo leaks out of the mitochondria into the cytoplasm, it is gonna show apoptosis. So anti-apoptotic factors, they prevent the leakage. They don't allow this leakage to take place. What are the anti-apoptotic factors? They are BCL2, MCL1, BCL-XL. See, all of them have L in their name because they lower apoptosis. So here they are. On the outer membrane of the mitochondria, there are the anti-apoptotic factors: BCL2, MCL1, BCL-XL. They prevent the leakage of, they don't allow for the leakage of cytochrome C and SMAC Diablo. Second is present in cytoplasm itself. They directly inhibit caspase. They are called the inhibitors of apoptotic proteins. I mean, caspase is the apoptotic protein. Till now, what is the definition of apoptosis? Caspase dependent programmed cell death. Caspase is causing the programmed cell death. Caspase is causing apoptosis. So caspase is the apoptotic protein. And you have inhibitors of apoptotic protein, that is inhibitor of caspase within the cytoplasm. Within cytoplasm, you have the IPs. So one is preventing the leakage of cytochrome C. Another is inhibiting caspase directly. Pro-apoptotic factors. Pro-apoptotic factors are also present in the outer mitochondrial membrane. If anti-apoptotic factor, they prevent leakage, pro-apoptotic factor, they cause leakage. How do they cause leakage? By making pores. They include P53, BAX, BCL access. See, they don't have L in their names. I'm not talking about this L. I'm not talking about this L. That's common in both. Here's XL, here's XS. Okay. So they make pores in the outer mitochondrial membrane, but then they are kept in check by the anti-apoptotic factors. However, right now the cell is stressed. Right now there is increase in pro-apoptotic factors. Right now there is increase in pro-apoptotic factors, decrease in anti-apoptotic factors. That means we are going to have pores on the outer mitochondrial membrane. As soon as pores are formed in the outer mitochondrial membrane, cytochrome C and SMAC Diablo is gonna leak out into the cytoplasm. Now what are they gonna do? Let me explain you what they are gonna do. So you have cytochrome C, SMAC/Diablo. Hear me out very carefully. Right? There are two proteins present within the cytoplasm of the cell that the initiation of intrinsic pathway is dependent upon. Two proteins present in the cytoplasm. Number one is caspase, and number two are the inhibitors of caspase. Caspase Caspase is the accelerator of apoptosis. Caspase is why apoptosis is taking place. It is the accelerator of the apoptosis. IAP is inhibiting caspase, so it is the brake of apoptosis. So if we want apoptosis to take place, we have to press on the accelerator. If we want apoptosis to take place, we have to fail the brake. We want the car to go faster and we don't want it to stop. We want the apoptosis to go faster and we don't want it to stop. We want apoptosis to accelerate and not brake. So we want to press on the accelerator and fail the brake. That is, we want caspases, but we don't want IAPs. So caspases activated by cytochrome C, IAPs inhibited by SMAC. Got it? This is how cytochrome C, it accelerates, cytochrome C, it presses on accelerator. How? By activating caspase. Activate caspase. SMAC/Diablo, it fails the brake by inhibiting IAP. So SMAC/Diablo came out. It went and inhibited IAP. Cytochrome C came out, which immediately combines with APOPH1, forms apoptosome. Apoptosome then activates caspase, procaspase 9 to caspase 9. Now we have all three caspases. We have 8, 9 and 10. We got 8 and 10 from the initiation of extrinsic pathway and we got 9 from initiation of intrinsic pathway. Now the common execution phase. From initiation, we have caspases 8, 9, 10. They will activate the execution caspases, that is caspases 3, 6, 7, which will go and activate the enzymes within the cell. Phospholipase, protease, and nuclease. Sorry, not nuclease. This is important. Endonuclease. Endonuclease. And finally, they are the reason why apoptotic bodies are formed. See, during reversible cell injury, I said that there is activation of phospholipase, protease, and nuclease. But in apoptosis, there is activation of endonuclease. What's the difference between nuclease and endonuclease? Nuclease is a more general enzyme. It is responsible for the breakdown of nucleic acid like DNA and RNA. Endonuclease has endo in it, so it is more endo. This is what I mean. See, endonuclease. Endonuclease carries intranucleosomal cleavage. That means, what is a nucleosome? You have 4 histone proteins together around which the nucleic acid is wrapped. This is one nucleosome. 4 histone proteins together around which the nucleic acid is wrapped. That is another nucleosome. This is one nucleosome. This is another nucleosome. And the cleavage is in between these nucleosomes. So there is in between internucleosomal cleavage. See here. There are nucleosomes here and then cleavage in the middle. Nucleosomes here, cleavage in the middle. Nucleosomes here, cleavage in the middle. Nucleosomes here. That means if you carry out electrophoresis of apoptotic cell that has electrophoresis of cell that has gone through apoptosis, what are you gonna get? Here is the nucleic material. Here is the nucleic acid. Nucleosome, gap in the middle. Nucleosome broken down, so gap in the middle. Nucleosome, gap in the middle. So the same thing is gonna be visible on smear as well. So you are visualizing the smear. You are visualizing the nuclear smear in gel electrophoresis. See, there is nucleosome and then empty. Nucleosome and then empty. Nucleosome and then empty. Nucleosome and then empty. Why? Because in between nucleosome, cleavage has taken place, so there is empty in between. There is internucleosomal cleavage, so there is nucleosome that gets smeared and then gap, then another nucleosome that gets smeared and then gap, another nucleosome that gets smeared and then gap. Got it? Which ends up giving us step ladder pattern. So under electrophoresis, apoptosis gives us step ladder pattern. With that, we are done with the mechanism of apoptosis. Now we are going to look at the morphological changes that take place in a cell that is going through apoptosis. First, we have a normal cell. This normal cell receives apoptotic signal. Then it goes through the process of apoptosis, and these are the changes that is morphologically present. First morphological change is the cell shows cell shrinkage. That is, the cell becomes smaller. It shrinks. Since the cell shrinks, the cytoplasm within the cell also condenses. And since the cytoplasm is eosinophilic, there is increase in eosinophilia. That is, the cell becomes more pink. Number 2. The nucleus itself also shrinks. There is condensation of the nucleus, which is referred to as pycnosis. Due to which there is also increase in basophilia, because the nucleus is basophilic. So there is increase in the blue color of the nucleus. Then the nucleus gets broken down into fragments, which is karyorexis. Karyo referring to nucleus and rexis referring to fragmentation. So there is fragmentation of the nucleus. Number 4, on the membrane there is outpouching or blebs formation, referred to as blebbing. And finally, the cell gets broken down, or the cell falls off, as the name says, into apoptotic bodies. And with the formation of the apoptotic bodies, the process of apoptosis comes to an end. So what are the steps? Number 1, cell shrinkage. Number 2, pycnosis. Number 3, karyorexis. Number 4, blebbing. And number 5, apoptotic bodies formation. With this, you might have noticed something, or you may not have noticed it, but there are 2 extra points that now we can add in the difference between necrosis and apoptosis. Number 1, in apoptosis there is cell shrinkage, but in necrosis there is increase in cell size. In apoptosis you have pycnosis, karyorexis. But in necrosis, you have pycnosis, karyorexis, as well as karyolysis, that is nucleus dissolution, karyolysis, nuclear breakdown. Okay, so the 5 steps: cell shrinkage, pycnosis, karyorexis, blebbing, and apoptotic bodies formation. And they are given beautifully with the help of your real life pictures in Robbins. See, number 1, there is cell shrinkage resulting in increased eosinophilia. Number 2, there is pycnosis resulting in condensation of the nucleus. Number 3, there is karyorexis resulting in breakdown of the nucleus. Number 4, there is blebbing resulting in outpouching within the cell. And then you can also see activation of caspase 3 here. Okay, with that apoptosis is done. But the apoptotic bodies, what happens to it? Once the apoptotic bodies are formed, they are engulfed by the WBC, phagocytosed by WBC. The question is, why are these apoptotic bodies eaten up by WBC? Just because they are smaller in size? No, that's not the reason. As soon as the cell gets broken down into apoptotic bodies, on the surface of the apoptotic bodies, there is expression of, as shown in pink color, eat me signal. And as it says, the eat me signal tells the WBC, Aja mere ko khaja. It will tell WBC, come here, eat me. It's giving you WBC the eat me signal. Ana aa bhai, mujhe kha bhai. And these eat me signal includes C1q, thrombospondin, and phosphatidylserine, which is the most important, phosphatidylserine. Let's see. So let's take example of phosphatidylserine. This is your normal cell that goes through apoptosis. In normal cell, the phosphatidylserine is present within the cell. It's facing inside the cell membrane. But after apoptosis, flipping of phosphatidylserine takes place. That is, the phosphatidylserine, it gets flipped outside. So now it is expressed on the cell membrane. It is facing outside the cell. And the WBCs, they detect these phosphatidylserine molecules expressed outside the apoptotic bodies and then eat the apoptotic bodies. Phosphatidylserine is annexin 5 positive, which is used for diagnosis, which is used for test of apoptosis. And with that, we are done with apoptosis. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you found this video useful, please share it with your friends. And also don't forget to comment, because that's the only source of motivation I got. I do read them all. So please comment down below, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Why not? It's all for free after all. See you.